A key to get you into the happiest place on earth any day you want, but subject to blackout dates or park reservations? What's really going on with the magic keys? So, what exactly are magic keys? Magic keys are what Disney created after the COVID closures to replace the annual pass holder program. There are four different tiers, and they are subject to park reservations and in some cases blackout dates. Can I buy a magic key? No. Can I renew my magic key? No. Why? Because Disney is currently in a lawsuit with Dream Key holders. They view the park reservations as blackout dates, even though it is clearly stated when you buy your pass that it will be subject to park reservations. I am an Enchant Key holder. So I bought that one. It's the second to lowest tier pass. I bought it because I don't normally go to Disney on the weekends. I try to avoid it. And I only go once or twice a year, and it will save you a bit of money if you do it. Park reservations for me are not hard to get because I have to travel to Southern California to get it. I literally have to fly or drive down, and it will take 12, 13 hours to get there by car. This doesn't really work for folks who live in Southern California and they have a Dream Key or a Believe Key, which is the second highest tier. Dream Key is the top tier, simply because they're used to going to Disneyland every single day. They literally show up at 3:30 and have dining reservations and stuff like that, and they spend a great deal of money in the park. Okay, why was the annual pass holder program discontinued? It worked just fine. It did, but there were certain things that were realized during the COVID closures, and this is my theory. Prior to the COVID closures, the city of Anaheim and Orange County got a little too big for their britches. They denied a lot of Disney's planning, expansion. They made it very difficult for Disney to work on their parks and update things. I mean, they could totally refurbish whatever they wanted to, but if they wanted to expand or change Disneyland, usually there was a lot of bureaucracy involved, and Disney had a hard time doing it. If you've ever been to Disneyland, there's all these mom and pop hotels along and around the Disneyland resort uh, that is off of Harbor Boulevard. During the COVID closures, these businesses started to really suffer. I think that they were really under the impression that people visited Anaheim and Orange County just to visit Anaheim and Orange County. And albeit it's kind of a beautiful place in some areas, it's not a tourist attraction. What makes it a tourist attraction is Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farms and those places. And I think that during that very long closure, they started to realize that. I think that as we came to the end of the COVID closures, I think that the city and the county and Disney sat down and got into a discussion. And I think one of the things that came up during the discussion was the annual pass holders and how much they impact the infrastructure in the city of Anaheim and on Orange County. I think that it's not Disney who disliked the annual pass holders, but instead the city of Anaheim and Orange County. In some cases, a lot of the folks who were annual pass holders didn't live in Orange County or in the city of Anaheim. Instead, they commuted in, and they did so all at the same time, pretty much between 3:30 and 5 o'clock. They got off work and they wanted to go to dinner and walk around Disneyland, which is a perfect decompression. And so they, gassed up in Los Angeles County and grabbed snacks and drove into Anaheim and, clogged up the I-5 and the exits and made a whole bunch of traffic jams and was on cell phones and, a whole bunch of cars polluting the air. And this caused, a huge problem for the city of Anaheim and Orange County simply because they weren't getting the money from the annual pass holders because they weren't filling up in Orange County. They weren't buying things in Anaheim. They weren't staying on Anaheim property every night in reverse, it was the tourists who were doing this. So I'm pretty sure that's how the negotiations went. And Disney said, okay, well, we're going to do a couple of things during the opening to help the city of Anaheim and Orange County gain back some money. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're not going to open our hotels so fast. We have to keep the Grand Californian open because it's a Disney Vacation Club property, but we're not going to open the other two. And that's exactly what they did. I think that they gave the legacy pass holder program kind of a pilot and enticed pass holders in the local area because they didn't want travelers from outside of the local area to come back into Disneyland when it opened. So they gave them the discounts and stuff like that. And they didn't want a mishmash because they really wanted to mitigate the spread of the virus. And I think that in turn, that pushed a huge injection of income into the city of Anaheim as Disneyland introduced its phased reopening. If you recall, it was Downtown Disney that opened first, and then they did a couple of food festivals like what Knott's Berry Farms was doing, and you could get into Disney California Adventures Buena Vista Street, and then once Newsom, I'm sorry, I was thinking Florida, Newsom's opened up California, then the park slowly reopened at capacity using the park reservation system. And I think in turn, what the city of Anaheim did and the county of Orange did was started to approve some of Disney's expansion and planning projects. Disney could have very easily bought up all of those hotels and totally took advantage of the COVID closure situation, but they didn't because they want to work with the city of Anaheim, and it was more of a gesture of goodwill instead of a bad business practice. As the reopening happened, we had the California resident 3-day ticket. It wasn't the Southern California resident, it was a California resident 3-day ticket. And recently, because of the dissolution of the Magic Keys at this point, which is what I'm going to call it, they've relaunched that same ticket and they even made it cheaper. So it's a California resident ticket, 3 days. Do I think they're going to sunset the Magic Key program? Absolutely. They only brought it back because people were asking for some sort of annual pass program, and I think that Disney just realized that this isn't working. The Magic Key holders are not very happy, and the same thing is happening as before that was happening with the Magic Key holders. People are gassing up in Los Angeles County and coming in and really using up that infrastructure, and it's causing those same problems that it was previously. Do I think that this has anything to do with Disney not liking annual pass holders? Absolutely not. Disney loves annual pass holders, but there has to be a way to mitigate the infrastructure and the pass holders. So that's the best I can piece together as an advisor and an outsider and a Magic Key holder. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going on? Leave your comments down below. I'd really, really like to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Nikki, your host and advisor, and I'll see you real soon.